Razabani for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. With me on Zoom today, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, Mr. Sweet Hands himself, the IBF super middleweight champion, Caleb Plant. Caleb, firstly, how are we doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. Caleb, the last kind of 12 months or so haven't been easy for anybody, whether in sport or boxing or outside of boxing, with this whole coronavirus and the pandemic that we've been stuck in.
Mm.
How's life been for yourself? I know you got yourself out in January, which we'll come to, but was that year kind of tough, not knowing when you're going to get a day, when you're going to be active and be able to get into back into the ring and do what you do best?
I mean, I'm a professional boxer. This is my whole life. So, when I'm not fighting, it does seem like a little piece of you is missing. But I was able to stay busy, and we got a big home gym here at the house, and I'm also in a good position financially too. So, I may not have felt it as much as some of the other people out there, but we all had to suffer in some way, shape, or form through this. And I was able to stay busy with training, whether it was strength and conditioning or we had a private setup going to the boxing gym. So I was happy to be able to stay busy and stay on top of my craft. And I knew that it would eventually come to pass, and we would all be able to get back to our normal lives. And it seems like things are headed that way. And like you said, got in there January 30th, did my thing, and it seemed like things are opening back up. So.
Was that nice feeling that when you got your day and got the call to say January 30th is the day, Caleb Truax is the man? Were you kind of thrilled that finally let those hands go?
Yeah, I was excited. We had a couple names on the list before him, and it was our plan to do a back-to-back mandatory. I've said that multiple times before. That way, we could have a year free and clear moving forward to make those big unification fights that the world wants to see, and that I want.
How did you kind of assess your performance? Being out in the ring for nearly a year, did you feel like you had some cobwebs and some ring rust to get rid of?
Maybe not so much ring rust or cobwebs, because I stay busy and I stay active. I'm always in the gym. I don't blow up in weight. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't really party. So, but I feel like the crowd, not having a crowd, uh, it was definitely a different vibe. Um, some people when there's tons of fans in the crowd, and everybody's watching you, it brings a different type of pressure to the fight, as opposed to it being like an empty auditorium or whatever, where it almost feels like a sparring session. So in that sense, it was different, but it's just another task to overcome and conquer. And I feel like I did well. I shut him out on all three scores, judges scorecards. He only landed 12% of his punches, and I hurt my hand in the fight. I wanted to get the stoppage. I was a little bit disappointed in that, but those things happen, and you just gotta be able to maneuver through them and still overcome and conquer. That's what I did, and now it's on the bigger and better things.
I wasn't asked about that with no fans. Here in the UK, we've had a couple of shows where undefeated, well known, one world champion, one future potential world champion, both took their first losses. And people were looking at the crowd aspect of it. But also, when you walk into the ring, you got your ring music on, you got that adrenaline pumping through you. So that must have been very, very weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the ring music gives you some sort of all this crazy adrenaline or anything. It's a song that you like, but at the end of the day, the boos or the cheers, proving people wrong or proving people right, the crowd wrong or the crowd right. Josh Warrington, I'm sure that's one of the guys you're speaking about, and he seems like a guy who feeds off the crowd. And so it's been different for boxers, and not everybody has gotten through this pandemic with their world title still across their way. So I'm happy to be able to say that I was able to do that. I survived the pandemic era, and hopefully this is behind us, and we can move on to getting the fans back in the crowd, and getting back to our old ways. So.
You're fairly, I know you've had 21 fights, 12 knockouts. I think you're 27, 28 years of age. So you're fairly kind of still fresh into the game, right? Now, would you still say you've got a lot to learn in the game?
Yeah. Boxing is a never ending process, and that's what I love about it. I feel like people who like to overachieve and they achieve something, and then it's never good enough, because they want the next thing, they want the next thing, they want the next thing. And so as soon as you learn something, that's what I love about boxing. As soon as you learn one thing, there's always something new to learn. So I'm always adding to my craft. I feel like over the Jose fight, the Mike Lee fight, the Vincent fight, you continuously see a better and better and better Caleb Plant, and then to shut out a former world champion on all three, like I said, judge the scorecards and only let him land 12% and land 50, 40, 50% of my power punches. I felt like that's a great performance. And, like I said, I'm just happy to be able to move on to bigger and better things.
You got yourself out nice and early in the year. Is there a set date or a plan of when you're back in the ring?
Canelo, September, that's what we want. So, I know he's got some business to tend to with fellow countrymen of yours. And, if he can get through that, then we'll give the fans a historic fight. And at the end of it, they'll have their first undisputed super middleweight.
No, I was going to come on to Canelo. Obviously, a man that everyone wants to fight. A lot of people say Billy Joe Saunders needs another one or two fights before he goes in Canelo. Billy Joe has then turned around and said, "Well, I don't want to take the risk. I don't want to break my hand. I don't want to get a cut. I might miss out on this opportunity to fight Canelo." With yourself, there's still 6 months or so until that fight, until your potential fight with Canelo could happen. So you don't want to just go in there and just have another fight, keep yourself busy.
Um, no, I don't really feel like I need that. Before this, I was normally fighting twice a year, and so that's right at the that would be twice a year, once again. So and again, I have my hand in the fight. You know, kind of how you touched on, not making sure it's not a situation where I re-injured it and then whatever may come about. So I'm ready, and I'm ready for September. That's what I want.
Everyone said that yourself, Benavides, Callum Smith were the kind of three elite super middleweights that were out there. When you saw Canelo go into the ring with Callum, do you expect Callum to do a lot more, or just you didn't expect Canelo to be as good?
Um, I expected Canelo to do what he did, but I expected Callum to do a little bit more. Not to hate on you fellow countrymen, but he is a little bit of a 1-2-3 ABC fighter. You know, um, Not a whole lot of fluidity. Sometimes he's a little stiff, but he's a big frame for 168. That probably has a lot to do with his frame and how big and tall and long he is. So, um, and then on top of him only getting, the call 6 weeks out or 5 weeks out and only having 4 weeks to train, um, for a guy that big, it might have been difficult making weight. There's a lot of variables that went into that or could have went into that. So, I don't know all the ins and outs, but, I kind of just felt like he went from rope to rope and from corner to corner, just kind of getting beat up. And I never really felt like at any point in time did he say, this round, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to lay it all out on the line. I'm going to go out on my shield. He just kind of went from rope to rope. And, but he still, he did more than Yildirim did.
Absolutely. Billy Joe Saunders, do you give him any chance against Canelo? Now, I know you want Canelo to win, so you can fight for the undisputed titles. But do you give Billy any chances? And does he bring more difficulty than other fighters because of his southpaw stance and his style?
Yeah, I think he does. Um, he's got some attributes to him, and I would say he's probably got a little bit more, mental grittiness than, probably Callum or Yildirim. And so, but at the end of the day, he's got to go in there and he's got to apply those things. He's got to implement those things. So, um, everybody's got a chance. So, but it's up to him to go in there and, implement that game plan and, do what he's got to do.
I know you said about becoming undisputed champion, and you mentioned that no one has ever become the undisputed super middleweight champion. So, is that something else that to look forward to, not just to fight Canelo, regarded as one of the best fighters pound for pound, but also the opportunity for yourself to become the undisputed super middleweight champion?
Yeah, absolutely. If I was just in this for a money grab, I would have took the fight on a 5 week notice with 4 weeks to train, like Callum did. That's not my intentions here. If it was, the money, it is about the money. But if it was only about the money, I don't think I would have made it about this far. For me, it's much more than that. It's about legacy. It's about um, cementing my place in this sport in a way that nobody can erase. Anyone who knows my story knows that, I started off with a lot of people who are no longer here. And when people pass on, a lot of times they're quickly forgotten about the rest of the world. I want my name to live forever, you know, and the way to do that is to step up and to fight the best. You know, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And if they say Canelo is the #1 pound for pound, then I'm here to prove that I'm the best.
We know Canelo doesn't like to talk past his current opponent, which is Billy Joe, but are we going to bypass? Are there not going to be any boxing politics? We know in the past when Canelo's been on the other side. I know you're with Al, but he's been with Oscar and Golden Boy. There's been issues about getting fights made together. With him leaving Golden Boy, being a free agent, being able to work with anybody he wants, does that make it a lot easier, or do you foresee any boxing politics get involved?
I mean, him not being attached with anyone else, you know, he's got a 2-fight deal with Eddie. That second fight is with Billy. After that, he should be free and clear to go. And so, you know, I can't just answer that question on my own because it takes, you know, it takes two. But as far as, you know, I feel like Fox is a great platform as far as viewership, as far as, you know, eyes. You know, there's no better platform than Fox. And so, you know, it makes sense to do a Fox pay-per-view. And, you know, we can both come out on top as far as, you know, walking away with our pockets full. So
No,
it
absolutely.
shouldn't be an issue. It's not an issue on our end.
Caleb, we wish you all the best in your preparations for that fight, for that mega fight. Hoping we'll catch up with you closer to the time as well. Appreciate you giving me a little bit of time. I was given a strict instruction to keep it to the time limit. I know you got many back-to-back to do, so I do appreciate my man, and hopefully we'll catch up one day face-to-face in Las Vegas.
Yes, we will. Appreciate it, man.
Caleb Plant, IFL TV, thank you very much.